Welcome to World Alert Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Tonight, a seismic shockwave hits the American heartland. Japanese auto giants Toyota, Honda, and Nissan are moving major manufacturing from the US to Canada. Thousands of jobs and billions in investment are heading north, leaving communities from Ohio to Tennessee reeling. The companies blame unpredictable trade policies and tariffs as the tipping point. In towns like Marysville and Smyrna, workers are stunned, facing an uncertain future. The fallout, tens of thousands of jobs lost, with ripple effects threatening entire towns. Tonight, the American heartland faces an economic reckoning. For over 40 years, Japanese automakers were woven into the fabric of American life. Their arrival in the 1980s revived struggling towns, brought new jobs, and offered a path to the middle class. These companies became more than employers, they were community pillars, supporting schools and local events. Now, that partnership is ending abruptly, leaving workers who built their lives around these plants facing an uncertain future. Many followed in their parents' footsteps, believing in the stability of these jobs. Now, specialized skills are suddenly less valuable in towns with no major employer. The American dream, homeownership, family security, retirement, now hangs by a thread. The impact goes beyond factory gates. Local governments lose tax revenue, small businesses lose customers, and entire regions face decline. Mayors and workers alike are asking, what happens when the biggest taxpayer leaves? Once hailed as saviors, these companies are now seen as villains, but most workers blame the political climate that drove them away. They feel like collateral damage in a trade war they never asked for. The dream of a secure manufacturing job is turning into a nightmare. Now, survival, not prosperity, is the question for these communities. What drove these companies out? One word: tariffs. The Trump administration's America First agenda imposed tariffs to protect U.S. industries, but the auto industry is a global puzzle. Cars assembled in America rely on thousands of parts from around the world. Tariffs on steel, aluminum, and auto parts drove up costs and created chaos. At first, automakers absorbed the costs, hoping for a quick resolution, but as tariffs persisted and policy became unpredictable, the financial burden became unsustainable. The real problem was uncertainty. One day a part was tariff-free, the next it faced a 25% tax. Long-term planning became impossible, and billion-dollar investments were suddenly at risk. Canada offered what the US no longer could: stability and predictability. The tariffs meant to protect American jobs instead pushed global companies to seek safer ground. The tipping point came when staying in the US cost more, financially and strategically, than leaving. In the end, business survival won out over political promises. The goal of tariffs was to bring jobs back to America, but the unintended consequences are devastating. First, the automakers left. Now, thousands of smaller suppliers, family businesses making seats, dashboards, wiring, face closure, or costly moves to Canada. Most can't move, so more jobs vanish quietly, far from the headlines. The economic pain spreads: shuttered factories, empty shops, and rising unemployment. Consumers are next. Fewer cars made in North America and higher costs for parts mean car prices will rise. Working-class Americans, the very people these policies aim to help, will pay more for the cars they need. The final blow: future investment dries up, as global companies see the US as too risky. The pipeline of foreign investment, once a source of growth, is at risk of running dry. As American towns brace for economic winter, Canada is preparing for a spring bloom. The Canadian government has built a reputation for stability and openness, signing free trade deals with Europe and the Pacific while the US turned inward. For automakers, Canada offers tariff-free access to global markets and a predictable business climate. The government works hand in hand with industry, offering tax incentives, streamlined regulations, and infrastructure investment. While the US built walls, Canada built bridges, championing rules-based trade and reliability. Provincial and municipal agencies actively attract and retain investment, creating fertile ground for growth. The decision by Toyota, Honda, and Nissan is a resounding vote of confidence in Canada's approach. It signals to the world that Canada is the smarter, safer bet for North American manufacturing. For automakers, it's not just about escaping US tariffs. It's about running toward a country that values global trade and innovation. Canada has branded itself as a haven of stability in a turbulent world. The open arms of Canada are now welcoming the future of the auto industry. The shift is more than a business move, it's a strategic realignment. The impact of this shift is already visible in Canada. In southern Ontario, factories once at risk are now expanding, buzzing with new investment. Honda and Toyota are adding thousands of jobs, retooling plants, and fueling a local economic boom. Now hiring signs replace for lease as new workers flood in. The tax base grows, funding better schools and public services. Optimism is everywhere, small businesses thrive, new homes are built, and communities are revitalized. In Windsor, Ontario, a new mega facility from a Japanese supplier will create over 1,000 jobs, symbolizing the region's resurgence. The prosperity that once defined American towns is now migrating north. Canada isn't just replacing lost U.S. jobs, it's building a more resilient, integrated manufacturing ecosystem. Government and industry are working together to ensure long-term competitiveness. While American towns mourn, Canadian communities are laying the foundation for a new, golden age. This shift isn't just about traditional cars, it's about the future electric vehicles. Canada has made building a domestic EV supply chain a national priority. From mining minerals to assembling batteries and vehicles, rich in lithium, nickel and cobalt, Canada offers a secure, ethical supply chain, something automakers crave. The US lags behind, still dependent on imports and hampered by trade disputes. Global giants like Volkswagen and Stellantis are investing billions in Canadian EV and battery plants, drawn by clean energy, resources, and policy support. Canada is winning not just today's jobs, but the high-tech, high-paying jobs of tomorrow. The country is becoming North America's premier destination for green technology and advanced manufacturing. The contrast is stark. US policy uncertainty scares off investors, while Canada's strategy attracts them. The move by Japanese automakers is part of a larger story. Capital and talent flow to where the future is being built. Right now, that place is Canada. This isn't the first time the North American auto industry has faced trade tensions. In the 1980s, fears of Japanese imports led to negotiations, not trade wars. The US encouraged Japanese automakers to build factories in America, a win-win that created jobs and prosperity. American workers benefited, consumers got better cars, and Japanese companies became part of the US economy. Engagement, not confrontation, was the strategy, and it worked. Today, the approach has flipped. Unpredictable tariffs and protectionism have driven investment away. Instead of building bridges, the US built walls, treating global companies as adversaries. The old policy recognized global supply chains. The new one tried to force them to be purely national, an unrealistic and damaging goal. The results are clear. Past engagement led to an industrial renaissance. Current protectionism has led to job losses and anxiety. 40 years of successful strategy have been undone, pushing partners into competitors' arms. The lesson is stark. How a country engages with the global economy shapes its future. Open hands create prosperity. Closed fists drive it away. The story of these two policies is a powerful warning. America's industrial heartland is paying the price for forgetting the lessons of the past. The consequences are real and lasting. Today, a new map for the North American auto industry is being drawn. One where investment flows to stability. Protectionist policies aim to shield American workers, but in a global economy, capital is mobile. If one country becomes unpredictable, companies move to where the climate is stable and welcoming. Canada's success is no accident. It's the result of long-term strategy, free trade, and innovation. The US, by contrast, has shown that policy volatility can hurt the very workers it aims to protect. The American worker promised a revival now faces job losses and uncertainty. Canada is solidifying its place as a hub for both traditional and electric vehicle manufacturing. The US must now rebuild trust with investors and repair its industrial heartland. The competition is between national strategies, not just companies. In Canada, there's hope and growth. In the US, anxiety and transition. The lesson: in the 21st century, the best way to keep good jobs is to be the world's most attractive, reliable place to build the future. And tonight, that place is Canada.